I was in study basically not basically, all day. And there was nothing. There was some stuff at hand, but nothing worth talking about. A school video, so this Twitter, as of 11 to 5 p.m. on Wednesday, 22nd of June 2022. It is my brother's birthday and my friend, his birthday as well. So, rest in peace to the at least 920 dead from the earthquake in Afghanistan. Joe Lycett Joe at Belfast gig sparks PSNI complaint. So someone went to a Joe Lycett gig, heard a joke that he found offensive, or he or she found offensive, and reported it to the police. It's Joe Lycett. He is a very tame comedian. Like, what do you have to complain about from a Joe Lycett gig? I'm hoping to tell us a joke because I really want to know what the supposedly offensive thing he of all people could have said is. Well, at least Joe understands that now that you shouldn't call the police. Like, yeah, actually called the police. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a non-emergency number, but just imagine calling 999 and saying, Joe Lycett said a joke and it was offensive. Like, either the responder's not going to know who Joe Lycett is, or they do, and they're immediately going to think this guy has got to be right. Got to be so sensitive to be offended at Joe Lycett of all people. And I know I'll keep on mentioning it, but still. Please tell me that it actually says what the joke is. I'm not reading this massive Twitter apology or whatever. Anyway, Ukraine must not settle for something peace Boris Johnson that held G7. We're beginning with S, ending with Y, and it is 6 letters long. Obviously, I think the word is sussy peace. Now, you see this what happens when you don't clean up. I mean, we've got bubonic plague back in California and China. I'm surprised that we haven't all died yet. Forgive my pessimism. Okay. I haven't seen any of Kenobi since episode 3, but like I'm game for season 2 of Obi-Wan, but I just don't understand how it would work. Okay, hello there's always gonna be Kenobi. Oh, we've been saying this person's name wrong all these years. We've been saying this person's name wrong all these years. Breaking news, Lindsay Lohan says her name is actually Lindsay Lohan. Linda Carter worked with Nathan Fillion? What? I don't understand what is going on here. Hell yeah. Apparently, it's his family. As of 17 past 5 p.m. Because as I mentioned at the start of the video, it's my brother's birthday. And what do you do when it's someone's birthday? Oh yeah, you give them birthday beatings. And I did. I got the 13. He is 14 today. He's like, can you please stop? And he grabbed my bandana that has been clean since I bought it 3 years ago. Like, I rarely wear it, but it's gone through 3 years of wear, and no, no stains or anything like that. And he decides to grab it and throw it at my ice cream. So now it's got like chocolate stains on it. So gave him the 14th one, then I smacked him. Not a hard smack, but still a smack for being a dick and stealing a 3-year-old bandana. It cost me a lot of money because it's a 21 pounds bandana, and band who rarely comes to this country because we are so minuscule that we are often ignored. It's only the crap artists that come here, like Lewis Capaldi and Calvin Harris. But anyway, after the smack, and it wasn't a smack in the face or anything, it was the leg. And he screams at me. I'm gonna try and think of like a example from like a movie or something of what his tone and volume was like. I've got to imagine that I sort of stared at him for say 5 seconds before I gave him the 14th hit and the smack. He's like, can you leave, please? I don't understand what's going on. Despite the fact that it's my birthday and this is what is supposed to happen on your birthday. My life is so bad. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. This is the closest thing that I can get to his tone. The only other thing I can think of is me when I'm like that, but I've never been like that in school. Like, not even during those stupid bloody arguments during year 12. And there has never been a recording of me being this loud. So imagine this, but more. Okay, he's not calm, but he's over it now because I'm pretty sure this is what bipolar people are like. He's like, I want to kill everyone and everything. I really want to play FIFA. Anyway, so this, but imagine it more gritty, I guess, and louder, because I'm only playing this on one volume.
Time stuff to fucking ask! How big are those titties, bitch? Hurry up! I'm getting a weird stare! How many...
I'm still pissed at him, but I'm going to try and make sure that it doesn't affect the video. I was really hoping for this video to be shorter, but while it is Marcus's fault, I'm going to blame it on my brother. The point of strike action is to be disruptive and affect day-to-day societal functioning. If you're inconvenienced, it tells you these workers are an essential part of your day and therefore deserving at least livable paying conditions. The average salary for a train driver is $60,000. If they're unable to survive on that wage, it sounds like they're really stupid or shouldn't be trusted with money. For nurses, the average is $33,000. Yeah, but those nurses working in the NHS, because the NHS nurses, instead of being nurses, they record TikToks. And then when the patients end up dying, they're like, I did everything I could. So does everything you could include blowing up balloons putting them down your trousers so it looks like you have a big ass, and shaking your ass on TikTok, because I've seen a bunch of NHS workers doing that. Why is everyone's phone going off? What the hell? Like, it's probably like my granny or someone calling to say happy birthday. Doesn't matter is you are in 12k or 200k, manage your money. That's like basic adulting 101. Okay, I was right. Yeah, I was right. It's my granny. I'm surprised she remembers. Why are you hiding all the replies pointing out that an average of 60k train drivers make well above the living wage? Ignore my dad dang in the background. Train drivers are not on an average of 6k nor the striking. Train drivers are in fact on an average of 60k after 3 years, and they are in fact striking. They've been on strike for like the last month in Scotland. The strike has only just went national. What do you mean that there's no strike? It's literally all that's happening on Twitter. I don't know why my brother's giving off our address to Granny. I don't understand. So I'm just going to explain what happened. So I got the phone off my brother, so I can talk to my uncle, because my uncle's house has Sky Movies, and there's a movie I was looking for on Sky Movies that's playing tomorrow. I said, "Can you record a movie for me, please?" "What? A movie? What? A movie? What? A movie? I know it's a movie. What's the name of it?" Name. What's it on? Sky Showcase tomorrow, 10 past 10. Right. You can hear my granny background saying, "What's the channel?" "Showcase." Never heard of it. Sky. And then he hands the phone to her, and she says, "You all done?" And before I can even respond, she hangs up. I hope it's being recorded, but if not, I think that they have a catch up. Because it isn't the drivers striking, ? But it is also the train drivers have been on strike for about a month. Well, I've already said that. Hey, we have a big coal that's a liability that could bankrupt if some idiot falls in. Maybe a guard, cheaper than a lawsuit. That was easy peasy. We were a 45-minute drive from the nearest petrol station, never mind town. Tis the season of Marcus. It started in February for me. I'm sorry. Pollen. Hay fever. Stasi in East Germany would dress in civilian clothes and go in pubs or shows, theatres, etc. Listen to the show and listen to everyone's conversation. As anything reporting was said, they reported it. It's what they were paid to do. In Britain, people do it for free. And here you go with Joe. So, I was told by my parents what had happened, and apparently what had happened was that he wanted to show a photo of himself as a baby, and in the photo he was naked, and it was producers or whatever was saying, no, people will call you a pedophile or something like that. And going, but it's me. I'm not sexually attracted to myself. Like, and I don't understand that, because by that logic, anyone who listens to that Nirvana album is a pedophile. I don't believe that. That's the logic of people who, whatever. Also, if you go to a comedy show and then call the police over a joke that hurt your little fifis, you're the biggest loser on earth, and no one should be friends with you. Actually, I wanted to see that "We Indians" comment. I think it's ever about getting comedians arrested for jokes they didn't even utter. Jailed India comic who did not crack a joke. At least you have NHS and gun control. I literally hate both these things. You have the NHS crap as full of nurses making TikToks over the dying bodies of the patients, and gun control has just increased gun crime. Well, all due respect, Your Grace, it was sarcasm based on the typical but if you can't remember whenever the eroding rights of Britain is mentioned. My bad, fam. I've never really replied to tweets, but today that changes. For too long, my friends have responded to my tweets only for me to remain silent. I swear I don't hate you, and I'll prove it from now on. I thought you were just being sensible. I know it's a crap impression of critical, but I wanted to give it a go. Oh god, it's an argument. Whether you like it or not, the fight against transphobia is one of the key fights against fascism of our generation. What transphobia? You people are the mainstream. At this point, it just seems like you are like going in the corners and beating people up. You know, you're beating down on the transphobic minority. You're beating minorities. Anyway, you're living through it right now. Oh yeah, all the trans people that were executed in the gas chambers in 2022 Germany. Oh wait, that didn't happen. Surprisingly, because Angela Merkel is a Nazi. Sitting and watching and doing nothing is an action that favors the fascists, and they will not stop. Not really considered like. So, if I don't do anything, like if I don't fight against transphobia, then the transphobia will win. Huh. So if we had an army of like the trans people, trans supporters, army of say 100,000, I know it's not an actual fight, but let's just take this online fight and make it physical as an example. So got an army of 100,000 ready to storm the. Okay, well they're on the defensive apparently. So, and I'm not making any. I'm not trying to say that trans people are Nazis or anything by comparing them to the Nazis, but let's just say that like D-Day and the trans side is the Germans shitting down and killing a bunch. Like, if you watch Saving Private Ryan, like, then you know what I'm talking about. Or called World War II, but that was basically just Saving Private Ryan, the game, for that mission at least. Army of 100,000 shitting down on the transphobic side, which is just one guy, and that guy's me. Like, if I don't pick up a rifle and start shooting that guy, like, he's not gonna take over. And if he did, that would mean that you guys are extremely weak. Fascism. Come on, Katie. No, things can be bad without being fascist. Thank you. I'm tired of like anything slightly bad happens. Oh, it's a fascist thing. A fascist could piss in your face and you think it's raining. What? No, we're talking about the fact that every single time something bad happens to you, you call it fascism. Like, you even Biden, you know, the people that you put in office, you know, gas prices are going up because of Biden. Oh, it's literal fascism. Sure it is. You think anybody who is not you is a fascist? I read about what it actually is, and it's not when things don't go your way. Oh no, he has the rise and fall of the Third Reich. But let's just say Mein Kampf for now. Oh no, that must mean he's a Nazi. But I know it's not in that photo, but let's just say that he owns the Communist Manifesto. But he owns the Communist Manifesto. How does that work? How are you a communist and a Nazi at the same time? GOP politicians are explicitly calling for the murder of trans people. Where? Give examples. Like, you're saying they are literally calling for trans people to die, right? For the past years, like, say since 2016, 2015, you've been saying the death of trans people in a metaphorical sense. But you've said explicitly, as in literally, where? Yes, I'm more than willing to call people who want me dead fascists. Well, I mean, okay, your entire group, all trans people, that would be fascist if it were actually happening. Provide a source. But if someone wants to murder me because they just don't like me, that's not fascist. That person is just insane. They're just crazy backbenchers who never win elections, or are they actually in power? I don't care about what 5 Foot Joe who runs the local feed shop thinks. Exactly. Right, let's see. April 8th, 2022, ESV. Fox News has aired 170 segments featuring discussions about trans people in the past 3 weeks, with Fox anchors, hosts, and guests incessantly fear-mongering about trans people and spreading dangerous misinformation, including the lie that most trans kids have been led to where they are by adult predators. It's totally happening in the US due to stop fear-mongering. But you said the GOP. Fox News is not the GOP. The ones expressly calling for my death mostly haven't had electoral success yet, with a few notable exceptions. What do you mean yet? The world's getting more and more aligned to your side. You are not oppressed. You are the majority. You are the ones in office. You will not die by the government running you over for being trans. The government supports you. I'm tired of this mentality that these people think they're oppressed when they're not. Like, how much further, how much more, I can't say freedom because you have all the freedom. But at what point are you going to say, actually, no, we're not oppressed? How far? But almost all of them are perfectly fine using rhetoric that directly leads to their base to that conclusion. You do realize Nazis also had a groomer moral panic. Correlation does not mean it's the same. Because you know what? The Nazis also had to take a piss every time they had too much water. Well, I mean, I've had to go. Oh no, I'm a Nazi apparently. Nazis also had a grim moral panic. Please don't make crap the win in an argument. It makes you seem so much worse. The Nazis literally use pedos and rapists for their armies. What are you on about? Also, don't say anything about killing in these quotes. Full cap time. I want to introduce you to two Nazi terms: person and, well, not thing and thing. Seducer and corrupter of UFC. Groomer. These stereotypes depict that figure who lured young people in the epidemic of minor, queer, and trans communities. There weren't any trans people in Nazi Germany. What are you on about? You might have had people who believed that they were the opposite gender or wore, cross-dressed, but I don't think the term transgenderism or transsexual, transvestite, anything like that existed in the 30s. If you're saying the Nazis said something against groomers and abusers, yeah, but that's not the reason the Nazis were bad. Clearly the point is Nazis called people groomers who probably were not. Of course, just like Republicans are calling people groomers who probably are not now. Well, I mean, with what's going on in California during Pride Month, I don't understand how you could ever watch the videos of, drag queens performing in front of children and exposing themselves in front of children and not calling them groomers. But anyway, and just like how for the past decade leftists have been calling people fascists who probably are not, it's all bad. You just don't like the tables turned on you. Calling someone a groomer and calling someone a fascist are two very different things. Yeah, you treat fascists worse than you treat groomers, but I would treat a groomer worse than a fascist because being a groomer would mean that you've actually done it before, but being a fascist would mean that it's just something that you believe in. Not when they're both false and result in the complete destruction of the person. Calling Trump a fascist resulted in the complete destruction of the person. Get out of here. Well, when in the case of Trump, it was 7 straight years of calling him a Nazi from the very second that he announced that he was running for president. Everyone in the media was calling him a fascist, racist, everything like that. And even after he left, even now, people are still talking about him all the time and blaming stuff on him that just isn't his fault because he is no longer, excuse me, he is no longer president. Like stuff like the gas prices going up that only started going up when Biden was in office. They're blaming that on Trump. Probably because of the fact that these people voted for Biden and they realized, oh crap, we voted for the guy that's raising the gas prices. You know, many. So, and right, he was able to be president and he did do a complete full term. He wasn't assassinated, surprisingly. And I'm not advocating for the assassinate. I'm just surprised that no one, as far as I know, no one attempted to, because I'm pretty sure someone attempted to assassinate. Okay, there were a couple assassination attempts, but like there weren't as much as I expected, because if there were, then I definitely would have heard about it because it's all people have been talking about. But anyway, yeah, people are calling him fascist for 7 years, and that didn't affect him becoming president. But it was just an attack on his character because people were being too lazy. Like instead of researching and deciding if Trump is a fascist or not, people just, since everyone was calling him a fascist, then no one was doing any research and finding out that actually Trump isn't a fascist, because Trump genuinely is not a fascist. He's a communist. And like I've been shouted at by Jack for saying he's a communist, but there is evidence out there that he's a communist. Like I first heard about it from Paul, and then I was looking at Carl's videos recently, and even Carl said that he's a communist. But anyway. No, but calling random people fascists and then using that basis to cancel them and get them fired from their job and expelled from their school and their bank accounts closed, especially when you're wrong, does. Well, it's a good thing that doesn't. What do you mean it doesn't happen? It happens all the time. That is what cancel culture is. Like, this person said something racist on Twitter in 2009. Quickly, get him fired. James Gunn, Trevor Noah, that like cricket player. I know you're thinking, oh well, you don't know his name, so it doesn't count. No, I don't know his name because it's cricket. Anyway, Kevin Hart as well. He was fired from the Oscars. James Gunn was let go from Guardians 3. I know that he's back to doing Guardians 3, and this was actually a positive for him, because if it weren't for this, he probably wouldn't have ended up doing the Suicide Squad. But still, cancel culture, that's exactly what it is. You cannot deny that cancel culture exists, right? You cannot deny that cancel culture is a bad thing, because it undoubtedly is. Anyway. Well, oh yeah, Marcus as well. And he still has a successful YouTube channel and career. Bro. Right, yeah, he's doing fine now. But before all this happened, or well, when Nazi Puck happened, what would have happened was that he would go for a job, and then like journalists and all would find out that he has a job. Say he's working at Tesco's. They would phone up Tesco's and say, you know that you hired a Nazi, right? And then Tesco's will fire him because they don't want to be known for having hired a Nazi. Because that's just how it works. And then he gets fired, and everyone's like, and Marcus will say that he's not earning any money because he isn't, and then everyone will be like, just get a job. Like, usually the ones that stop them from getting a job. People tried to shut those down too. It wasn't successful, so it isn't bad. Don't understand that, so why bring up the fact that he managed to pass through? You know, it's like pushing someone down the stairs and paralyzing them for life, but they get a huge insurance payout. Some good came about, so that means you're off the hook for pushing them, at least. I think that's how they think it works. Like, this is something that I've been thinking about with Corona. Because a lot of good has come out of Corona for me. Because I've been getting paid to take tests, which has been... I've been able to buy a lot of comics from that. But however many people died, right? That's not a good thing, and that outweighs the fact that I was able to read. So, yeah, Corona did give me some good, and there were some good things for other people for Corona. But that doesn't mean that Corona was a good thing. What? It's your logic, don't worry, we were all confused. I saw that guy there, I was like, I tried to kill you, but it didn't work, so I'm off the hook. I'm Mark, please drop in the Symposium and play more Bannerlord with us one day. But remember Bannerlord night, and then we all decided to get our wives pregnant? My nose is blocked, and I'm gonna clear it after the video. Shame that didn't succeed. What's your problem? Like, overall, what is your problem? Like, the only thing I'm getting from your real name and your profile picture is that you're trans. Like, that's the only thing I'm getting from you. But I can't say that. That's transphobic. So, tell me what is wrong with you. We went from that doesn't happen to damn I wish that happened pretty fast. Appreciate the ones that wear their boots instead of their mask. You get points for honesty. Also, you seem pretty fascist if you're saying you disagreed with me, so we're gonna shut down your channel. You know, you disagree with the party, so we're gonna shut down your channel. I mean, something happening and me wanting something to happen are different things. Well, I mean, as you have been calling for Trump to die for 7 years, so do you think that calling for someone to die isn't a bad thing because you're not actually killing them? I mean, if I tell someone to kill themselves and they don't do it, then by your logic, there was nothing wrong with me doing it. Nothing wrong with me saying that. Okay, sorry, what you should have said was that horrible thing doesn't happen. We should know because we try to do that horrible thing to people all the time. Anything else you little off, or should you maybe go polish your boots? I got prepare for standards and make it double. Mark, how are you so based? I eat my vegetables and take cod liver oil daily every day, doing 30 crunchies and 20 burpees. I can't speak with this blocked nose. Wives, Canadians can't get married. They do, just to other men. We can all argue about genders and all that BS, but we should all be able to agree that being a leaf is a sexuality. What's the game you think only you remember? 3 years ago, I would have said Ribbon Thief, but that became a meme on TikTok in 2020, so not anymore. At this point, I'm going to have to say my favorite game of all time, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because it seems like no one has played that game. Like, it to me, it now seems like the only AC games that people have played is Black Flag and Syndicate. Well, I do love both those games. They're not the best. I'm not reading that. I know it seems a little hypocritical because I'm always posting stuff from books I'm reading, but at least I highlight what I want to show, because I've never like posted something that big and expected people to read all of it. There are times that I've posted something and it's an entire page and I didn't highlight anything. I was just me being lazy. Henry Hazlitt, Economics Among Lesson. Chappelle says his former high school teacher will no longer be named after him. Oh, I'm clearing my note. I know I've already read it. Right? I'm going to read it again because I didn't understand that. Dave Chappelle says his former high school theater. Oh. So they were going to name the theater at his high school the Dave Chappelle Theater, I guess. So, anyway. Good. No trans student should ever have to sit in a theater named after someone who mocks their existence. I'm tired of people calling Dave Chappelle transphobic because he isn't. And let me explain why he isn't. Dave Chappelle was friends with this trans comedian. And after his first Netflix special came out and everyone was calling him transphobic, his trans comedian friend backed him up. And they started bullying his trans comedian friend. And that trans comedian friend ended up killing herself. So you're fighting for trans rights by bullying a trans person into killing themselves. Congratulations, you transphobe. Remember when you can make jokes about people and they did completely burn themselves and their community down and destroy all their political goodwill and credibility if you had an attempt to take you down with them? My God, these Trump people are racist. The attitude is, well, it's pushing me to be racist. Say what? Might as well. You say I'm a Nazi, so fine. I'll be a Nazi if that makes you happy. It doesn't. I bought this Waffen SS uniform for Halloween. You'll cry if offensive, so maybe I'll just wear it every day. I just hate it. I have to do this. I feel bullied, really. No. That is not literally this guy. Hell no, it's hard to count the number of ways you're wrong. You're upset that people are pushing back, and instead of just slaying back and taking it, you're claiming that's the reason people hate them more. Except he isn't doing that. He is pointing out the hypocrisy of the left. I mean, yes, it's crappiest people who want to censor comedians. Why would I want the crappy people to win? The crappiest people who have to harm in the press group to get laughs. He wasn't harming in a press group. You were harming in a press group by getting one of them to kill themselves. You cannot say that you are fighting for trans rights when you bullied a trans person into killing themselves. You cannot say that you are a good person and that you are on the right side of history when it comes to trans people when you killed one of them. Mark wasn't free to tell a joke. Who? Me. And everything you just said is wrong. Which part of the part where there's a difference between freedom of speech and freedom from consequences? Did you just pull in something? What consequences are we talking about here? People pushing back on comedians? Is that not a conversation? People pushing back in what way? Again, what type of consequences? Apparently, going back through the conversation, people or groups no longer wanting to associate with someone. Like that school changing its name, or people not wanting their money to go to certain places. I was talking about this tweet. Comics are in fact being censored, and no, comics are not free to say whatever they want. Correct. You're not guaranteed a platform, but when you do get one, authoritarians will use scumbag tactics to get it shut down. Were you arrested? Yes! Okay, located right next to the L on the keyboard. Here's a photo. What were the charges? Guilty of hate crime. Causing offense. So you broke a law and were convicted by a court of law. Just because the law says bad, and even then, at the time, it wasn't even law. Right? And I'm going to get into something similar once the Twitter segment is over, because something similar has happened to me, just on nowhere near as bad as how it happened to Mark. Man, you went from comics and not being censored to I support laws criminalizing jokes and censoring comics pretty fast. Your mask didn't just slip. You frisbeed over the horizon, you little fascist. Imagine thinking you're a good person while also thinking the laws banning offending people are also a good thing. Where did I make a judgment? Okay, let's entertain the direction that you're going in, to pretend you were not going in. Yes, I offended people with a joke which is illegal in my country, and that's an issue for people to take up. Yes, and we have been. Unfortunately, the way government works is that they can literally ignore everyone and pass whatever laws they want. So do you admit you were wrong, and also do you support this law? No, I don't support the law. Smashing. Great to hear. So you support freedom of speech then? Yep, including the freedom of speech. People not like comedians work, they make them unpopular and to hold them accountable for their jokes, not for arrest but for ticket sales or the lack thereof. That's completely fair. Now, if you guys could stop threatening to firebomb our venues, that would be great. I promise I will not firebomb any venues. Very good. Tell your friends to stop assaulting people too. I have 0 friends who assault people. You should change that to I have 0 friends. Whenever you come up with these people immediately turn into Mussolini, it still amazes me how these people could call everyone fascists when they are unironically fascists. They call everyone transphobes when unironically they're the transphobes and they don't even realise it. We bullied a trans person into killing themselves. We're on trans people's side. Yay. Contributing to that 40%, 50%, whatever it is. He's gone quiet. I already know what the answer was. I just wanted to see if he would actually say it out loud. I'm at work, dumbass. Cool. Well, I got you. Can you answer my question? Do you support these laws? This photo, this photo, this photo, this photo. Interacting with authoritarians LARPing against the side of peace, love, and acceptance is still one of the best things about this website. They don't even try and keep up with the charade anymore. Freedom of speech means to me you can choose to speak and even you can listen to you. You can also choose to listen or not. But then you decide who other people can and cannot listen. That isn't you. That is censorship. Then they throw you in jail for that joke. Not the Twitter jail, the jail. Only for one night. Got bail. the reason why they didn't arrest Mark was that their computer didn't tell them to arrest Mark. I'm not kidding. Look it up. Human rights advocate acting as a mouthpiece for the Tory government. Hilarious. Is that part of your stand-up? He is an advocate for the Tory government. He hates the Tory government. Like, if you're going to say that this person supports this, at least make sure that you get it right. Initially, he supported UKIP, and he was a member of UKIP, but he left because he realised that everyone else in the party is just fighting over who should be leader. The way that he said it was that they were just playing Game of Thrones in real life, minus the murder and incest and rape, etc. He hates the Tories for an actual reason. So 60k, not a living wage? Why does it matter? You saying everyone on strike is earning 60k? It matters because she said they're striking the living wage. She pointed out that 60k, they make nearly triple the living wage. So what she said was incorrect, and I'm really pointing that out. Does that literal fact upset you for some reason? Again, are all workers making 60k, or are you purposely misconstructing her words to make a flimsy point? The living wage of real workers across the board is 23k. That is above the living wage, so saying that these strikes about being paid a living wage is false, since they already do. That is what I was pointing out. If they were simply saying we want a lot more money than whatever, at least it would be honest. The strikes aren't just about being paid a living wage, though, as the person you're quoting points out. They're also about work conditions and, by extension, job security. Also, just because their wage right now is livable doesn't mean it will be in a few months. Except that person said it was about being paid a living wage, which is the thing I was directly addressing. I didn't mention anything about any of the other stuff you said. So what was the point of the original tweet? To point out a single flaw in their statement in the most roundabout way possible. It wasn't roundabout at all. She said it was about earning a living wage. I pointed out how that was false, and for some reason you're just absolutely seething about that. Are you annoyed that I corrected misinformation? The original tweet was addressing the strikes as a whole, while you brought up a group of workers who may or may not even be participating in strikes. Flimsy got-you-style arguments are hardly correcting misinformation. You know that even if a tweet contains a bunch of other information, that doesn't mean you're suddenly not allowed to correct a piece of misinformation in there. Sounds super crazy, I know, but did you know you can do that? By this guy's logic. And I gotta say that all on this video. But if I write an essay and I misspell one word, but everything else in the essay is fine, by this guy's logic, the teacher cannot mark me down for misspelling a word. Do you know if you bring up a completely unrelated point to the tweet you're replying to, you're not actually correcting misinformation, you're just talking to yourself. Except it wasn't an unrelated point, it was something she directly said in her tweet. I even highlighted it to help you out. Something she said that was incorrect, so I corrected it. Why do you have such a huge problem with misinformation being corrected? Can you highlight the part of the tweet where she mentioned train drivers and struggling to find it? Because they are a Scottish person, and for the last month it's been train drivers in Scotland who have been on the strike. The strike has only just gone national, which Marcus said before. Go on to guess you're English and you forget that other countries exist outside of yourselves. Also, you really are grasping at straws now. Most people will just accept that and move on. Most people wouldn't. Most people always fight back, Mark. You're just an undetermined to claw back some dignity, even if it means humiliating yourself further. You have still yet to highlight where she mentioned train drivers. What does that have to do with anything we are talking about? You seem to be shifting it onto train drivers when it's not who she was talking about. It's completely irrelevant since train staff make above the living wage already, which was the whole point of this. This mysterious fellow replied to tweet talking about train drivers specifically. Don't know if you heard about him. Okay, now here's the amazing thing about that. I pointed out train drivers because, and I said this before, but I didn't sink in like a lot of things I'm telling you. You must have been a nightmare in school, so I'm going to explain it again very carefully. Me and the woman who posted that tweet live in Scotland. This is a country to the north of England. In Scotland, for the last month, it's been the train drivers who've been on strike. So basically, this argument is two Scottish people talking about a Scottish issue. You, English, I'm guessing, have waited into this trying to apply the strikes happening in your country to the ones happening in ours. Now, I know this may shock him, but Scotland and England are different places and different things happen to you. Now, I explained that in a way that even a child can understand. If after this you still don't get it, may God have mercy on your soul. Also, the absolutely beautiful thing about all this is that even if it's not the train drivers, even if it's the tickies, the signallers, etc., they still earn above the living wage. Meaning that even if I went, okay, fine, they were not talking about the drivers, I would still be right and you would still be wrong. You literally just tried to straw man your way into an argument where you still would have been wrong, and I find that amazing. Amusing how I'm seething about having a discussion with someone. Are you always this combative when conversing with people, or is it just when you're buying a keyboard? And I'm just really curious as to why you got so upset at misinformation being corrected. Which are all misinformation was not correct. Why would you want that? I'm just curious as to why you'd repeat the talking points of a government that tried to throw you in jail. That was the SNP who did that, not the Tories. Why are you deflecting instead of answering the question? I'll try and ask again. Why are you upset at misinformation being corrected? Was it because it came from your political side? Is it okay when your side lies? You haven't corrected any misinformation. There you go. No, you can't miss the point. Also, I'm not okay with misinformation. What is my side? Oh my god. Fortunately for me, I used to work in a mental health ward, so I know how to deal with people like you. Let me break it down super simply. This woman said that train employees are going on strike so they can earn a living wage, as you saw highlighted above. I then pointed out that that cannot be the case since all train employees, apart from the apprentices, etc., actually earn above the living wage. Since they already earn above the living wage, it means the point of the strike is not to earn a living wage since they already have that. Now, because what she said was not grounded in reality, it was not a fact, it was not true, that means it was a lie or misinformation. To prevent people from being misinformed, I decided to point that out because no one wants people to be misinformed. No one except you, that is. A free tweet reply, it's always been my dream to see someone mauled on Twitter. Since you couldn't refute anything I said and you went for the you mad, you can pick up your L on the way out. I did refute things, so no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're just screaming like a child who had their toys taken away from them. You have changed the course of the conversation, me might misinformation. Nope, you didn't refute a thing. Let's just be very honest here. The real reason you're mad is because one of your leftist lies got pointed out, and you guys get it when you aren't left alone to manipulate people. Also, I enjoy watching you mauled when your BS gets pointed out. Remember this show? Neither did I. Like, I forgot about it like the day after I talked about it. But I do remember talking about it. The main character in Dead End looks like something someone would make the crap on Steven Universe. Like, it does remind me of that, when people were, they made their own Steven Universe characters and posted them on Tumblr, and it was like all whitewashed. Like, they took all the black characters in Steven Universe and made them all white, and stuff like that. That's what it reminds me of. Actually, it doesn't. It reminds me of your typical depiction of a Tumblr user. Just, I'm going to assume that's a guy, make it a woman, and that is every Tumblr user to ever exist, except for me, because I had Tumblr for like a day. Didn't use it though. I joined it, I didn't understand it, deleted it. Same thing went for Snapchat. Sungtas liberal character. I mean, the animation style does remind me of the Owl House, and you know, Stonetoss did animate on that. Musk wins. Twitter board of directors told the platform shareholders to accept the $44 billion takeover deal. Yes! Marcus's balls are protected, guys. You were playing from a downfall, you lost. Ah, would you look at that? Video blocked. Let's see. So, video you posted at 11:27 a.m. on January 7th because it included the following content. Peer Gent Suite, number 1, 4th MOV dot, in the Hall of the Mountain King by Edvard Hagerup Grieg. Okay, so I saw it last night, and I decided to do some research last night on my other phone. I don't really have two phones. I still use my old phone for music, and yeah. So I just needed to write avo.com. Does this give me a link? No, it doesn't give me a link. So I'm not gonna be able to like. But Avo.com, Avo Q&A, real questions for people like you, real answers from licensed attorneys. Q&A asked in Marysville, WA, Washington State, I guess. April 1st, 2012. I don't think this is an April Fool's prank. Do I need to get a license to use the song In the Hall of the Mountain King in a video for a video contest? If so, how? Look at In the Hall of the Mountain King. 4 attorney answers. Number 1, posted April 2nd, 2012. You ask a deceptively complex question. There are 2 copyright rights in music. The first is the composer's rights, the second is performance rights. I'll deal with the composer's rights first. I looked up your song on Google and it appears the song was written by Edvard Grieg and first published in 1876. So, for my case, 146 years ago. Yeah, 146 years ago. Long time. In fact, so that makes the song so old, it would have been in its 60s when my granddad was born. You know, just so you can get a feel for how old the song is, and I get that it makes it seem like I'm going, old, but I just want, it's important that you understand how old the song is, because this lawyer has said the copyright has to have expired a long time ago, so you're free to use that piece of music. But what about the former rights? I don't know. Let me look. I didn't read that far. So I'm going to continue reading this. Had the piece still been protected by copyright, you would need to acquire a license to use the piece. To record your own version of the piece, you would need a mechanical license. You would have to locate the owner of the copyright in the music. This can be hard to do. Fortunately, the Harry Fox Agency, www.harryfox.com, has taken it upon itself to try and identify the owner of every piece of music. No one can have a complete list, but Harry Fox comes very close. They do this as a promotional tool for themselves. Start with them. If you just want to make your own recording of the song, then the copyright law has a default license called a compulsory license. You're free to negotiate your own license terms, but you can also assist on the terms and prices of the compulsory license. I have no idea what all this means. I'm just sharing that it's copy-free. If you want to perform the piece, say it's part of a music contest, then there is a different license involved. Most music publishers in the US have joined one of the free societies. ASCAP, BMI, or SESAC. SESAC. Both performance venues obtain blanket license which cover anyone who performs there. Well, crap. What I'm hearing is that to use it in a video, I need a separate license. Well, only the one now because it's been 146 years. Crap. Plan is I'm going to appeal. This video will be uploaded on the YouTube, so unless unless someone working at Instagram decides to look through my channel on YouTube, they're not going to know about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to appeal and say, yeah, I have a right to play it. It was made 146 years ago. The copyright expired a long time ago. The copyright probably expired before my dad was born. So I looked through everything that I posted on that date, and there was quite a bit. Most of it was me having notes for watching Black Mirror, because that's what I was going through, all the Black Mirror episodes. And I was careful not to use any audio or video from Black Mirror when I was watching it. So I was watching it on my tablet, and every time I had something to say, I would get my phone out. Pause the episode of Black Mirror first, get my phone out, and make the note. Pause the video or end the video, and then continue watching Black Mirror. So no footage from Black Mirror was used, or audio. Just I have talked about this before because there was another time where they they did shut at me for using Mozart, Beethoven or whatever, which that they were around before copyright even existed, and any songs that were released before copyright was invented, they are by default copy free. So they say, yeah, you're using classical music, you can't do that, it's copyrighted. No, it's not. So they've just gone full mask off and said, yeah, we're taking you down for things we can't take you down for. There is an obvious explanation as to why, but if I say it, I'm going to be called a conspiracy theorist, so I'm not going to say it. But you know what I'm thinking.